Databricks recently announced AI BI. The idea here is that you can use artificial intelligence within Databricks to ask questions in natural language. Let's take a look at how to set that up, some of the capabilities and some of the shortcomings. So you'll notice when you go to try set this up that Genie requires that your data be registered to a Unity catalog first off, and second off that you be on a pro or serverless SQL warehouse. If you double click on the requirements for pro or serverless SQL warehouse, you'll see that a serverless SQL warehouse cannot be on a free trial, and that your workspace has to be a premium plan or above. What that means is you can't use their free community edition to kick the tires. In fact, I've got a community edition set up here. You can see from the prefix on the URL. And if I go to create, you'll notice Genie Spaces, unfortunately, is not an option. So I have to go create a paid Databricks account to be able to try out Genie. So I did that, and here I have a paid Databricks account. I'm gonna go to catalog and I'll create a new catalog. And I'll just call this sample test. Create default storage. And I'm, for the purpose of this, just gonna analyze a Excel file that I have that has 3 tables. So I'll go to the sample test catalog I just created, and I'm gonna create a table within it. So the first thing I'm gonna try to do is pull in the whole Excel file. It won't let me do that. It says it has to be a CSV, a TSV Parquet file, or so on. So now I will have to individually save the files from this Excel. So if I open it up here, Excel will open, and I will save down first orders, file save as, orders, Databricks, save it as a CSV. Do the same thing for returns. Returns. Okay. And the same thing for people. File save as. Save that down as a CSV. Okay, great. So now I have these 3 CSVs that I can upload, and I can close Excel. I'm going to select these 3 and try to read them all in. It says it's uploading 3 files. I'll hit create table. And you might think that it's going to create all 3 of these tables, but unfortunately it only creates one of them, even though I gave it 3 CSVs. It doesn't create the 2 other ones that it should. So we'll have to go back and repeat this step 2 more times. So we'll go to sample test, default. If we refresh this, we'll see that our first table was read in, but we need to go do this for 2 other tables. Orders, we already did. We did it for people. Create table. Go back to catalog. Since I shouldn't leave the page, I should let it finish this. And finally, we'll do it for returns. Okay, so now we've got these 3 tables read into Databricks, part of our Unity catalog. Let's go ask a question of them. So to do that, we're gonna go, once this returns Databricks is created, completes, great. So now we'll refresh, make sure all the tables are here. And on the left here, we're going to go over to Genie, and let's define. It requires us to define the tables that we want to query, and so we'll go define sample test. We have to individually click the tables that we want to expose it to. So we're actually doing a lot of curation here to tell it exactly what we want it to select from. We'll give it a new name, sample Genie, and we'll hit save. Let's ask two questions here. The first is maybe which customers have returns, and then the second is which customers have spent a total of at least $200. So the first question is going to require a join to the returns table, and the second question is going to require it to kind of sum across the values of purchases and group those by customers. So we'll say, show me which customers had returns. And we'll take a quick look at this. This looks like customer names. Here, to check if it's right, we're gonna go look at the SQL, customer name. Okay, that looks right. The join is on order ID to the returns table, and it's an inner join. Okay, that looks right. And then the second question we'll ask here is, show me which customers have spent a total of more than $200. And so this should aggregate across all the purchases to look at those that only exceed $200. Now, it's giving me some slightly weird stuff, like really, really long decimal points that don't quite make sense if I'm talking about dollars and cents, but that's fine. And we'll look at the generated code, sums total sales, does a group by customer name, and conditions it on only those sales of greater than $200. Now let's say we want to kind of visualize this, because maybe we want to see visually which customers have spent the most. So we hit auto visualize, and this is what we get. Now, we probably want to sort this, and we don't have a great way to be able to do that here. We see the generated code, but hovering over things, right-clicking on them, doesn't really give us any options to refine this visualization. So we could go see the generated code, and we could go maybe re-ask it to graph it in a more intuitive way. We'd probably want to see the highest spenders first. I'll say ordered by biggest customer first. I don't have direct manipulation over this graph here and kind of how it was created in a visual way. And here, when I said ordered by biggest customer first, it still kind of gave me a table. So I'll maybe say as a graph. Let's see if it picks that up. And it doesn't pick up that I want a graph, and kind of gives me this table. So this is kind of the set of limitations around Databricks' AI BI capability. And as you'll see, you don't have a lot of flexibility in terms of choosing how things look, how they're ordered, and you're sort of in this world of you get a graph, but to check it, you need to go look at this generated code and the SQL. So it's not particularly user-friendly for a business user. I'm going to compare that to doing the same thing in Zing Data. So we're going to add an Excel or CSV file. In this case, I'll just pull over the Excel file. And one of the nice things is I can pull in an Excel file that has multiple tables, and it will go through, pull in each of those tables for me. So I don't need to individually save those down as Excel files transported into CSV for each sheet. So this will get pulled in, and we'll look at the questions that we had asked. So the first question we had asked over here was, show me which customers had returns. And we're gonna go ask that same question in Zing. Now the cool thing in Zing is I can just go start querying that immediately. I don't need to even define what subtables or specific tables. Zing will figure that out. And so I'm just gonna go say, show me which customers had returns, and hit run. And Zing will figure out that in order to answer that question, it needs to do the join between my returns table and my orders table. I see all the names here, but if I wanted just to see the unique ones, I could do a group by, and I'll see just the unique ones. I can see over here that returned is true, filter was applied, and I can also visually see the join that occurred in order to calculate the intersection between my orders table and my returns table. I'm gonna go back and ask another question and say, show me which customers had total purchases of at least $200, and I'll run that. And Zing will, again, sum, much like Databricks did, the purchase amount by each user, but you'll notice now it actually ranked it and showed me the biggest ones first. It shows me this AI summary saying that Sean Miller tops the chart at about 25,000 in purchases, and gives me kind of a quick summary. And it gives me this very flexible way that, for instance, if I wanted to see what products were made up in these purchases, or let's say what category was made up in each of these purchases, I can directly manipulate this however I'd like to be able to see, for instance, that technology sales was the largest for my big spenders. If I'd like, I could do things like go back and remember how we couldn't change the ordering when we were in Databricks. Here I could easily say I want to order